Hey, what's up? Travel Chronicles. I'm not sure what chapter. This is going to be the death edition. Not a overly joyous topic, but my uncle just passed away. I just found out about it. And my family's not incredibly close at any level. Even my brothers and sisters, we're not that close. I'm 19 years away from my youngest sibling, so I didn't grow up with anybody. I'm kind of an only child, and all my brothers and sisters were kind of half relatives. But I mean, your uncle's your uncle. There's nothing you can do about that. But we were never, like tight knit as a family. I feel terrible. I feel terrible, for his family. And this is the first sibling of my mom that she's lost. She's actually the oldest, but I think all the kids have at least made it to the 80s. So she's 92, and I think her sister's 90. One sister. I'm not sure exactly how old Uncle Jim was, but I think he's at least 85. He had some issues before. He had some brain issues. They actually did brain surgery on him at one point. And he's just a farmer. He's a teacher. Always used to like to go to his house. We didn't go there that often, but whenever we go there, it was neat because he did a lot of woodworking, making stuff, and he would make tractors out of wood. He would make the tires, the spokes, the handles, the body of the tractor. And whenever we would go there, I mean, they were cooler looking than like the cast iron ones that you get, that are homemade. It was neat. He had a whole woodworking shop where he would work on stuff. He did other stuff too, but I just remember the tractors because he had them all around, on top of the windows and stuff, and on shelves and stuff at their house. And whenever you walk in there, that's what you seen. But yeah, he did other stuff too, and he farmed. But as he got older, he couldn't do the woodworking stuff anymore. And he worked. He would do puzzles though, just to keep his hands moving, keep his brain engaged. And I think he did a lot of crossword puzzles. Just that's what that generation did. So it's nowadays you would play on your phone or play a video game or something, and that's how you keep kind of active with your hands and your mind, rather than actually making something, which was useful. But him and Mom, I don't want to say they fell out. Mom's health or mental state's been deteriorating for a while, and she just locks into certain things, and she locked into like having conversations with him about puzzles. So she's like, all he wanted to talk about was puzzles. She's like, I'd rather talk to his wife than him. And maybe he got to a point where he wasn't that enjoyable to talk to, I guess. I haven't seen him in I don't know how long. It's been a long time. But my wife says I'm callous about death. I'm not callous about that. I understand that. I understand it's there. I understand that. And that's the thing about it is, I know it's there. I know it's kind of this ever-present thing. And I went through 19 plus years of life without really dealing with death. Nobody close to me had died, and that's what it kind of seems like as you go on in life. Like, it's not like somebody dies every 6 months or every year. There's not a regular period where people die. It just kind of you go a long period of time without anybody passing away, and then it's like boom, 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 boom. Like a bunch of people die in a short period of time. My wife's aunt, or like her great aunt, her dad's oldest sister passed away this weekend, and I think she was in her 90s. So I think she was. I'm pretty sure she was. But she lived a full life. life. I mean, you can't regret anything about like that. And I think Uncle Jim lived a full life. You know, he's got 4 kids. 4. That's how tight we are, right? I gotta think about it. But that 19 years went by. I didn't really deal with death. You know, I thought about it kind of, you know, I don't want to say in passing. Like, there would be waves of it. You know, other people would lose people and be like, well, you know, both of my grandpas are dead. One died before I was born. The other one died while I was still real young. I don't remember hardly anything. I remember one time I was at their house in Jerusalem, I think, and it was at the top of the steps, and it was just a vague, real faint memory of him. You know, maybe it's even from a picture, and maybe I kind of remember the house. I don't know. I was named after him. So, you know, I'm like his namesake, or he's my namesake, however that works. But those were like the only death I had dealt with until I was 19, and my grandmother passed away, and that was hard. You know, like when I was going through school, like one of my buddies, his dad died in a crane accident. You know, horrible, completely unexpected. You know, and it was shocking. You know, you agree from a friend, but you know, it was shock when that happened. I think another one of my friends, his dad died when we were in junior high, and because I never really dealt with death, you know, I didn't understand. I should have, and I didn't go to the funeral because they had it during school, but they let the class go. I should have went because I didn't understand at the time that funerals aren't. You're not going because you necessarily know the person that died. You're going because you know somebody who's affected because they knew that person and they loved that person. That was an important person in their life. You know, everything's not just about them. I mean, the people that died, it's over. It's done. You know, they're free of this life. You know, you don't go to a funeral and mourn for them. You mourn for the people that have to go on without them. That's what it is to me. And I didn't realize it when I was young. You know, so I don't hold anything against myself for that. Just I've realized that later as I've gotten older. My grandma died when I was 19, almost 20. My dad died about 7 months later. He had battled cancer. I was 20, pretty young, and it was the second, you know, major death I was dealing with. And then 3 months later, my other grandma, my only living grandparent, passed away. She was in her 90s. My parents were old when they had me, and I thought about the math before, but I always say my dad was 53, my mom was 48. My mom was 47. She turned 48 right after she had me. I think my dad turned 53 right after. He was born in 22. Is he older than that? He's 54? Might have been 54. That's crazy. He was 54. But for whatever reason, 53 and 48 was stuck in my head for like the longest time, and I recently realized that number was wrong. But I mean, they're significantly older than me, which means their parents were older. So my grandparents were really, really old, you know, even when they had me. That's why my one grandfather had passed away. But after going through that period, so it was essentially, it was June to May, or to March. My grandmother died on March 10th. My dad died on January 17th. And it's like those dates are just burned in my mind. I want to say my grandmother died on June 19th. But I don't know that 100%. It might have been June 21st. I mean, she had a birthday in there too. Which, I mean, I know it was during summer. It was after my first year of college. I was still at home, you know, getting ready to go away. No, second year of college. I was getting ready to go away, and she died during that summer. So that was the first, you know, funeral, you know, I've been involved to. It was somebody that was, you know, close to me, but like I said, our family wasn't really all that close. It was just a close relative that had died. When my dad died, that really hurt. That really struck me because, I'm 20 years old. I never really dealt with it. My grandmother broke her hip. She had cancer. Like, all right, I get that. My dad's significantly younger, so, my perception of death is you got to be 80, 90 years old, to die of anything. If you're younger than that, there's no way. But he had colon cancer, and he had drank his whole life, and he had smoked for the majority of it. He had quit when he was close to the end there, but and I'm not saying he was, he was 54 when he had me. He was 74 when he died. He was 53, maybe turned 50, 54, turned 55. I think. I don't want to think about the math too much. I know I was 20. It was 97, 98. It was 98. And he's supposed to make it. Your dad's supposed to make it. Dad's not going to die from that. Okay, it's cancer. You'll get better. You'll be fine. The eternal optimist, right? Just, you can't fathom somebody dying like that when you're that young and you haven't been around. But when he died, and then it's, there's no getting better. It's a very definitive line of demarcation in your life, because you can't have any more conversations. You can't have any more interactions where you can get something back from that person. You can talk to their spirit, to their memories, but you can never 100%, hold that person, touch that person, give that person a kiss. Nothing. And when you realize that, when you go through that at that age, it's eye-opening to what death is, because it's so permanent in this life for everybody else that goes on. It's a finality for them, but there's no regret for them. They don't have anything that they could do. They literally did everything that they could, and they're still gone. And that's why it just hit so hard for me after that, because I understand it, but I also understood it for everybody else. And even though you think in your mind, well, I'm the youngest of 4 siblings on my mom's side, 2 on my dad's side, 3 brothers, 3 sisters, and I'm the youngest by a wide margin. I'm probably going to have to witness all of my brothers and sisters die, and unless something catastrophic happens to me. But you start doing math in your head of how many times you're going to have to go through that, and how many times you're going to have to go through these wide swings, and it sucks. And it almost makes you want to close people off, because the less people you have, the less times you have to deal with it. But you can't, because you can't live life like that. And my philosophy's changed through the years. When my dad died, he told me he was proud of me for not drinking. I was 20. I wasn't 21. I couldn't legally drink anyway, even if I wanted to. And you're young, you're in the country, people drink, okay? And I had drinks before. I had alcohol before. Hell, he gave it to me. He gave it to me while he was driving. I could reach over and grab his beer while he was driving and take a drink of it, and he never said anything. That's how he was. Yeah, you heard that right. You heard that right. But it was something that stuck with me, and it's a hell of a thing to hang on a kid, because you're not even of legal drinking age. So if your dad's proud of you for something, you kind of stick with it. But I never wanted alcohol after that. I think because he let me have it when I was so young, like the temptation, like the thrill of alcohol was never a big deal for me. It's like, I had that when I was 12. What's a big deal? I think I drank my first full beer when I was 12 years old. Like legitimately, like we were outside, cutting wood, splitting it. I remember drinking a Miller Lite, like the whole can. That was the first time I drank a full can of beer myself. And after that point, I don't know that I've drank another. Well, I have. I've drank full beers before after that, but it's never had an appeal for me. I never really liked the taste of it either. And I'm not gonna sit there and just pound something that I don't like the taste of, and I really don't like the feel of being drunk. I don't like it. And it may seem counterintuitive. It's like you had to deal with all this death. Why aren't you drinking yourself into a hole? And it's like I don't want to miss out on experiences of life because I'm in a drunken stupor, right, or a drug-filled stupor. Like I want to experience everything. I want to experience the highs. I want to experience the lows. I want to know the emotion. I want to feel it. I don't want to numb myself to those emotions. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. But it's just a philosophy that I've come to, through the years. I'm not going to all of a sudden pick up drinking. I don't think I don't see the benefit. And if anything that's happened in my life, like nothing is because of alcohol. Nothing good is because of alcohol in my life. I can 100% put a stamp on that. Everything that's good has happened because I've been around and made the decision. So. Losing my uncle today is one of those things. When you look at the path in front of you and you realize all the steps that you're going to have to take, it's one of those steps, and that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not callous about death at all. I recognize it for what it is: a finality, an end of a relationship, and when it comes, it's not some unexpected thing. It's not like, oh my goodness, I didn't think they would ever die. Everybody has an expiration date. However you want to look at it. We're all born with a terminal illness called mortality. Doctors, medical professionals, however you want to look at it, they're not saving lives. They're preventing the inevitable for a time. They're prolonging the inevitable, and that's kind of a short-sighted way to work. I mean, they do a lot of good work. They help people get more out of their life. That's what they're doing. You're helping somebody get more out of their life. You're not saving their life. You're helping them get more out of it. So that's kind of where I'm at. I guess those are the big things for me. I hate it. I hate to deal with it. I hate other people having to deal with it. It's one of those things you have to go through. I've lost 2 of my sisters already. This is Mom's first sibling that she's lost, but her mind is kind of gone, so I don't know how she'll handle it. I figured she'll just be okay and move on. When her daughter died, she didn't go to the funeral because it was in Virginia. So I doubt she'll go to this one. If she wants to, I'll get her there. I'll figure something out. It kind of sucks. But it's always there. It's always looming in the background. I'm not saying you have to be ready for it. You don't stop living. You don't stop living because you're going to die. You don't do that. You try to go out and just experience as much as you can and see as much as you can, and maybe you impact as many people as you can, and they feel it a little bit when you are gone. Because if nobody grieves for you when you die, did you do anything? Did you help anybody? What were you doing? Don't sit there and feel sorry for yourself either. Whatever you're going through, whatever's going on, somebody's been through worse. I always look at it that way too. Somebody's been through worse. Eventually you get to the bottom where somebody's absolutely not gone through anything worse than you, but I doubt that person's probably not even alive right now. So as long as you're going to live. All right, that's all I have to say about the death. So be careful, stay alive, and be COVID free.